Hello everyone, I'm Steve from Valhartv, and today I'm going to be reviewing Discovery of Witches Season 3, Episode 7. So we're just going to jump right in. This is the season finale, everybody, and I believe it's the series finale as well. There has been no indications that I could find of them making a fourth season to this, so we really pick up right where we left off last episode. Right after Diana got the video from Benjamin showing Matthew being drained of blood, being in real trouble, and she's gathering pretty much everybody at Septor to help find Matthew, and they're poring over like the video, trying to figure out exactly where Matthew is and Benjamin when Baldwin shows up, and Baldwin's like, well, he's wearing the watch that Philippe had, so I know where he is, basically. And we get this whole little montage of like Diana like walking out to the helicopter to take off after that. But like people aren't actually happy that Baldwin's there because they're like, they're thinking that he's gonna cause trouble because he's aligned with Jabber, but he doesn't. He ends up going with them. So I thought that was really cool. And after that, we jump right back to Septor, where, I don't even know what to say about Jabber. Jabber, good old Jabber. He shows up to talk to Isabeau, right? And I've always gotten the vibe that he likes her. He wants to be with her. He's always talking to her kind of sweet, like, in that if you don't do what I say kind of tone, that I'm gonna just make your life hell, kind of. But at the same time, he's trying to be sweet, like, why don't you come over to my side, baby? I'll show you a good time, eh? It's terrible. I'm sorry, but yeah. So he's pretty much, that's the vibe I get from him, especially with her. And he talks to her about Matthew and Diana and how they broke the covenant and all this other stuff. And he tells her that he's there as a friend, of course. Like, that's the very first thing he says when he walks through the door. He's like, I'm here as a friend. And I'm like, that's not a very good way to start out a conversation ever, right? And he goes through, and yeah, and he just sits there and starts talking to her about all this stuff, about how she needs to come over to his side, give up the children, and she's like, go back to Venice. So that whole part was actually really, really cool, because she's standing her ground because she knows what Jabber did to her husband, and it's, the whole thing is like, he doesn't realize that until she tells him, and then he's like, I gave you every opportunity, and he leaves, and it's like, and he's mad, and it's like, listen, I mean, you keep getting rejected by this woman, man, stop. It's, enough's enough, man. Your scheming is not, he's thinking it's going to pay off, but when you keep going through the episode, it's great. It's great. So when we do go back to the chopper, it lands in Poland at the place that Benjamin and Matthew are, and it's really cool because Miriam gets out of the helicopter and just kicks in a door, so it's kind of cool, right? But that's where the coolness kind of ends. This episode starts going to downhill from here. So we get a couple of good scenes of magic in this. Don't get me wrong, we do. But this is basically Diana, the one-woman army. She didn't need anybody else. She didn't have to take anybody else with her. Like, as they're walking through the building, I thought there was going to be some resistance there. I thought, Benjamin and Satu were going to have some help there so we could see everybody start getting into a fight. None of that happens. Like, we get this illusion of Matthew in the beginning, and she's like, hold on, this is magic I've never seen before. And then they keep going through, and Diana starts hearing her twins cry. So she blocks off the passage and just is like, see ya, and keeps walking, and we get this scene where we see Matthew rocking the twins, and ends up being an illusion again with Satu in the room. And, of course, Satu is basically all about that prophecy is all about her and nobody else. And she's like, we could be allies. We're, I've told you we're not enemies, but you better give me the book. And when Diana reveals what the book is, yeah, it all goes downhill from there. And Satu, like, gets super mad about it and is like, that's my destiny. And what happens after that is just, it's so underwhelming and it was so disappointing. I had to pause it and I had to take a breath and then go back to it after probably about an hour. So I finished it up and it was just, it wasn't funny. Like, they built this whole thing up with her being more powerful now, Satu being more powerful, and Diana. This should have been an epic bring down the building type fight, right? This should have had walls being blown out, slinging magic all over the place, doing all this stuff while Benjamin and some goons, were fighting off Baldwin and Gallowglass and them. You know what I mean? Like, we should have had this whole thing going on because that's what they were building up to. You know what I mean? And it was so underwhelming, and it just fell flat. And what happened to Benjamin? Dude, that was terrible. I feel like these people, like, the writers either didn't know how to write this whole scene going on, or something happened and they had to save, like, budget or something maybe. Something happened, though, because they kept building up to this whole thing, and then it just fell flat, completely flat. And we even get, like, some stuff about blood rage in this, of, like, where it came from, how it became to be, things like that, before Diana goes to the council. And this, I think, started where it picked back up, where the episode did pick back up after all of this. Diana ends up going to the council as the representative for the Claremonts. And Jabert's face is priceless, because he's like, what? But he's like that controlled, like, crap, I'm raging, and this is not good for me type face. It was priceless. It was beautiful. And as she's going through, she basically tells him what she found out. And the really cool magic in this was the fact that she created a tree from the Book of Life. It just pops right out, like the roots go out and everything. And Jabert's like, no, she's a criminal. We've got to punish her. And yeah, dude, what the council does after that was awesome. It was really good. And the ending of this episode ends with Diana writing in a book. So I believe she's rewriting the Book of Life, because that seems to be what it was to me, but I could be wrong. And they're holding a party for what happened at the council, and we end it really with them dancing and seeing, like, Philippe in the back too, like his spirit. So I thought this was a good ending. I really did like it, but we leave off on a huge cliffhanger. Like, the magic Satu used in Poland actually was good, but it wasn't as good as the tree coming out of the book, again, at the council. I thought that was great. The acting in this, thought was really good. Honestly, it was really good. Even Baldwin did a really good job in this. Again, I really like his character in this season. Thought it was actually better than the other two. And the fact that we even get Jabert, who's just seeing everything slip through his fingers, man. That was great. Just the looks he kept giving. And he kept trying to keep hold of his control, his power at the council. It was great. So the show ends with unfinished storylines like Marcus, Phoebe, Chris, and Miriam too. We even get a little hint about that. Even Jabert's situation is not really resolved in this. So we're left to wonder, what will happen next. But again, I believe this is the series finale, so there's not going to be another season. Which means if they don't make another series or they don't make another season, none of this will ever really be shown. We'll never get any of this resolved, including the Jabber issue. Because Diana basically is like, your time is coming now that what we've done. And we don't know if he disappeared or what happened. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's unresolved in this. Even Domenico didn't really get like a whole thing about for like what he really wanted and why he was kind of going along with Jabber until the end. So yeah, I was kind of disappointed in this episode as well as I liked it. So I had mixed feelings about this episode by far. I thought it was good, but I thought it was underwhelming. I would honestly give this probably at least an 7.5, 8 tops out of 10. Just for the simple fact that they built up this epic fight scene with Satu, Diana, Benjamin, everybody else, right? They've been building up this. They've been making these girls more powerful, things like that, just to fall flat and not really show what they're capable of. And it was just, yeah. So, 7.5, 8 out of 10 at the tops. I will stick with 7.5 though, just for the simple fact of that we did not get to see an epic fight. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode. If you guys really liked it, didn't like it, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. And if you guys like what I do, please hit the like button and subscribe. Take care for now, everyone.